Hello my friends and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. I guess depending on who you talk to, the support coming from Kadyrov and his fighters is either exceptionally good or exceptionally sucky. In this case we have an article from Newsweek, so obviously probably their support is sucky. Now what happened? Russia deploys 300 Chechen soldiers to frontline to boost failing campaign. So from the title you understand that Russia is losing and brings 300 Chechen TikTok fighters, how they call them. This article comes from today, the 8th of January 2023, from the Newsweek. So as I said, Russia deploys 300 Chechen soldiers to frontline to boost failing campaign. We'll see, as Putin said. We'll see. It's not the end. Moscow has deployed approximately 300 Chechen fighters to the Ukrainian front line as the Kremlin invasion efforts drag on. Or maybe this is the last punch, you know. You get everything in one punch and you break through and everything is over. Why not? Well, we'll see. The fighters from the Southern Russian Republic's National Guard departed from the airport in Chechenya's capital of Grozny. The Kremlin-backed leader Ramzan Kadyrov posted on his Telegram channel, which was publicized by Russian state news agency TASS. The Republic has a complicated and bloody history with Moscow. Previously part of the Soviet Union, Chechnya asserted its independence from Moscow as the bloc disintegrated. During the Second Chechen War in 1990s, Russia, now under Vladimir Putin's control, reasserted its dominance over the separatist republic. Yes, he came and hung everybody over there by their balls, except Kadirov's father. Chechnya has been run by Kadyrov since it was backed by Putin in 2007 after Kadyrov's father, the then leader, was killed by Chechen guerrillas in 2004. Within weeks of the February 24th invasion of Ukraine, Kadyrov announced he had traveled to the country to assist Russia's forces. The leader of Caucasus Republic told Ukrainian fighters in a Telegram video earlier in the war to surrender or you will be finished. Now, I think that's how a leader speaks, not, oh, I apologize, I'm sorry. I would like to apologize for the past sins that my ancestors might have that they are not sorry for, but I am sorry for in their name somehow. You know what I'm talking about exactly. The former anti-Russian rebel added that Chechen troops would show you, and I'm quoting, will show you that Russia teaches warfare better than foreign theory and the recommendation of military advisors, according to The Guardian. In October, Kadyrov argued Moscow should consider deploying a low-yield nuclear weapon in Ukraine after Russia pulled its forces from the eastern city of Liman. Yeah, this guy and Zelensky, the only ones who mentioned nuclear weapons and all that, Anyway, he said that he believed, and I'm quoting, more drastic measures should be taken by the Kremlin, ranging from martial law to a nuclear detonation, he posted on his Telegram page. Remember, Zelensky said that the West, the NATO countries, should preemptively use nuclear weapons on Russia during an interview. Remember that one? Well, he was the only one, and Kadyrov, so that brings them together to have a little chardash. But Kremlin spokesperson Dmitry Peskov, spokesman, Newsweek, Dmitry Peskov distanced Moscow from the comments, telling a media conference that although the, and I'm quoting, heads of regions have a right to express their points of view, emotion should be removed from any kind of assessment on Ukraine. Smart answer for Peskov, I've got to tell you that. Peskov continued on to stress the, and I'm quoting, very big contribution Chechen fighters were making to the Russian invasion effort, and Kadyrov had personally invested a great deal in the war, according to Russian state media. Kadyrov heads up an infamous, paramilitary group known as a Kadirovsky, no, Kadirovtsi, or the Kadirovites, or Kadirovites, and has been accused of a score of human rights abuses which he has denied. The Chechen leader is propped up by the Kremlin, and Putin's support and money turned Kadyrov from a zero to a hero. End quote. Yekaterina Sokiryanskaya of the International Crisis Group previously told the Wall Street Journal. I think Yekaterina turned from a a media person into a traitor by the Russian standards. But hey, who cares, right? She hopes that when her masters are going to take over her nation, she's going to be given the Ministry of Culture or Mass Media or something like that. It happened. I saw that in Romania, so nothing new. That's how they operate. But look at what's his name, Saakashvili of Georgia, educated in the West, came back to Georgia, elected president, and then almost caught by Putin and hung by his balls. But then he left where? He went to Ukraine. He became a leader of an oblast, and then something else. I think he was charged with something. They want to put him in prison. Now he's a poor guy, has some mental health issues. He wanted to commit suicide. He was in a hunger strike and all. Saakashvili, anyway. Kadyrov has publicly labeled himself, and I'm quoting, Putin's foot soldier, end quote, and was sanctioned by the Treasury Department in September for his role in facilitating Moscow's invasion effort. During an interview, the evil Vladimir Putin was asked by I can't remember, it was an American or French or British interviewer, what can't he forgive? And he said, there's only one thing I can't forgive. Can you guess? It starts with an L. Or, I mean, maybe with a D. Disloyalty. That's what Putin said. I can't forgive and forget that. Forgive. I can't forgive it. So Kadyrov probably learned his lesson, and probably from his father, and he knows that it's like holding a tiger by the tail. You gotta continue, otherwise I think if Kadyrov plays something differently, he's gonna be blown to pieces if he's becoming disloyal to Putin. The press, even if someone else comes in Putin's place and protects Kadyrov, I think there will be other interests that will take care of him if he becomes disloyal. My opinion on that. The press release from the Treasury noted Kadyrov has accumulated extreme wealth as a result of his relationship with Putin, including a private zoo and a lavish slush fund. Well, Mike Tyson, a boxer, had a private zoo and how many 50 cars and all that. Mike Tyson, okay, in the 80s, 90s, and you talk about this guy. I mean, please leave me alone. Anyway, however, pro-Ukrainian Chechen fighters are also present within the country's borders, working in opposition to Kadyrov's forces. Well, you always have plus and minus. You all have supporters and you have detractors. That's how it is. And make no mistake, these guys are serious, both sides. And it's not like if they're gonna catch one another, they're just gonna shake hands and say see you next time. No, they're gonna take each other out, if they can. That's a real world, and not all this BS that they parrot with freedom and democracy. And a good example to see how that was, look what happened to Gaddafi. I remember when Putin visited, where was he? Denmark, Norway, Finland, something like that. I know it was not Sweden. One of these countries. He went over there, I don't know, when Gaddafi was taken care of in that animalic, I would say, not humane, human way, because that's the way we are, actually. I mean, we think that we're civilized, but I think in our real, what we are. Anyway, he was interviewed about, he was in a press conference with leader of whatever the country was, I can't remember, Norway, Finland, not Sweden or Denmark. And he said something like this, Putin, he said, have you seen the spectacle in Libya? Do you see how Gaddafi was killed? He said, whatever you might think about Gaddafi, that was not how things were done. And he said, who gave NATO the right to kill Gaddafi? Nobody challenged Putin. Nobody said, excuse me, sir, not NATO. It was not NATO who killed Gaddafi. It was his own people. None of them said anything. Can you guess why? Because in another interview, Putin said, well, we know who killed Gaddafi. I mean, he might lie, but he said, well, it was like this. Some people did this. They got him, and then they made some phone calls. People came over there, and then they just stayed at the side and let them take care of the whole thing. That's according to the bad dude. You can still find it on YouTube, I think. I can't remember when I watched it, maybe, I don't know, 10 years ago, 7 years ago. I can't remember when Gaddafi was killed. Probably about 10 years or so. I think something like that. Anyway, more than 10 years probably. So, yeah, Kadyrov has no illusions that you have to stick with loyalty here. Otherwise, you have 300 people coming over there to fight. If the Kadirovites are just TikTok dancers, then the Ukrainians should be relaxed and no problem over there. But if the Kadirovites are, as U.S. colonel, retired military army colonel Douglas McGregor said, the Kadirovites are not bad fighters, are actually good fighters, according to him. He said, then that's not good news for the front. Actually, they're efficient fighters, according to McGregor, in one of his podcasts. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.